Okay, well, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your experiences in the Big East, when you started, what's it feel like, so what you expected coming in. Talk a little bit about just the Big East in general.
Well, the Big East is a lot more physical than I expected.
It's good to hear. Yeah.
Every team is, capable of doing it. There's no off nights. You can't relax. We got great guards in there. So I expected to be very competitive. And I didn't know it was going to be that physical, though. But the competitiveness, I expected that. And lived up to it.
And your practices, we just talked to your teammate. He was filling us in on what practices look like with Coach Hurley. Give us your view.
Very intense.
You see his eyes pop?
You're gonna run everywhere. You're gonna guard 94 feet the whole time. There's no breaks, no water breaks. You got to get your water when you get off the court. So it's very intense and it prepares for the game. I feel like they're harder than the game, so it's great.
Especially now, you got to work twice as hard because now you're the hunted, right? You're the champs. You got to come back and defend your crown. I know about that. Tell Sonny what that's like. So to defend your championship crown.
Well, I'm not too sure of it yet. We just got our ring. So first game, we'll see how it is. I'm sure it'll be a lot more difficult, but our coach prepares very well, and I feel like we'll be fine.
You know what? More than ever before, you're going to have a target on your back as big as all get out. And it's going to be a situation where you're going to get everybody's best effort every single night. So that's what's coming your way. So I'm sure Danny, coming from a pedigree that he comes from, that he's very well aware of that and will make the adjustments accordingly. So where are your favorite places to play in the Big East? What arenas do you like to play in?
Besides ours, of course.
Besides yours.
Xavier, they have a good crowd.
Good crowd in what kind of way? Like it's a good home crowd for that particular squad, or is it nice that they're not that loud? It's good for you to play there because they're really not that loud.
They're extremely loud for their team, and I like my thing is like winning road games. I like when crowds are super loud, and then we end up beating them and they're quiet. But we didn't beat them last year, but we got to beat them this year so they can be quiet. And then Marquette, I would say Marquette because my cousin he plays for the Packers, so it's like racing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he comes to the game. He'll be courtside at the game, so those two.
Awesome.
I'm going to ask you in regards to preparation. So last year, take this up to this point last year, and now returning national champs. This point up to the, what do you see as the difference?
I just feel like we're more prepared. We know what's coming. Last year, well, for me personally, I didn't know what was coming. I didn't know the press was going to be that intense and stuff like that. And I was trying to playbook and my teammates, but now that I know my teammates are on a playbook front and back, so I feel like it's just more basketball stuff than anything. Last year was more effort things. I was being taught effort and play defense and stuff like that. So I just know this is like basketball.
How about adapting to school? Tricky, challenging.
At first, yeah, it was cold. It was very cold, and I've never been in the cold like that. Campus is huge. You got to walk everywhere on campus. Can't.
It is a big place. I've been up there. It's really, it's a huge
But
place.
you represent the whole state, right?
Yeah.
Which is different.
Yes.
Like Syracuse, Villanova are a part of the state where UConn is. If you're from Connecticut, it's UConn.
And plus the history of both programs, the women's program and the men's program, both multi-championship teams, How do you feel about, sometimes you get in that discussion of blue blood, and, they talk about the Dukes and the North Carolinas. Me and Sonny will tell you, Connecticut's in that discussion for the amount of chips that you guys have won. Yeah, but it's kind of like you kind of get ignored sometimes from some of these folks. I don't get it. And does that, you guys feel any kind of way about that? Does that kind of propel you to
Put a little chip on your shoulder?
Yeah.
I feel like we understand what we are as a program, and, the men's and women's side.
Yeah.
The women's side, obviously, best, and there's no denying that. And then we're the most championships in the last 25 years.
Without a doubt.
I feel like we're definitely number one up there as well. So no chip. We know who we are internally, and we're just gonna work, and that's just to prove to ourselves.
That's a great answer, my man. And thanks for hanging with us.
Appreciate it. Watch you guys play last year.
Can we ask you one favor?
Yes.
Can you look right at the camera and just say your name, the school, the national champs, whatever, your national champion in UConn, and just say, this is the Big East Rewind after you say all of that?
Just new with the defending national champs, UConn Huskies, and this is Big East Rewind.
All right.
Thanks, man.
brother.
Appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, good luck. Really.
How are you?
First of all, thanks for coming back to the Big East, man. Can you get my Syracuse guys? Can you get them? Can you call them? Can you say, get your ass in the Big East again?
Be nice to do that rivalry again.
Yeah.
Huge mistake us leaving, but that's another story. So I had fun watching you guys play last year in the tournament.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to ask you a couple recent questions. What's it like playing for Coach Hurley? What's that environment like? Other than as crazy as it looks, you can tell us. What's it like?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you got to first start with the intensity of practices. I think if you watch our practice, nothing like compared to other colleges, and just the intensity that he brings and the rest of the coaching staff, and you really just see the passion that he has for the team, and just the culture that he's instilled is a reflection on how we play on the court, and how we play is a reflection of him. So it's super important that he sets the standard every day.
When you guys played Marquette, between Hurley and Shaka, I think they logged 300 miles on the sideline. Would that be fair?
Probably right.
Okay.
Yeah. So is he that way in practice too, the way you see him in the game? I mean, he's constantly, and he was that way as a player. He's a little bit younger than Sonny and I.
Yeah.
But we all played in the same conference, and he was that way as a player, where he was constantly jabbering at refs and stuff like that. What his intensity level, is it like that in practice, and do you guys feed off that in your workouts?
Yeah, it's definitely like that in practice, but it might even be like 10 times more compared to how he is in the game.
Right.
But yeah, we definitely feed off. But I think when your coach just has that energy on the sideline, that passion about the game, and it really reflects on you that you want to play harder. You want to play hard for Coach Hurley, and that's something that, just it develops a special relationship between myself and the coach and the rest of the players.
Right.
So, it's just super important, and just that's something why I came here. So I love seeing the intensity they has, and just reflect on the court.
I'm going to ask you about your history. Where did you start? Give me your history. How'd you get to UConn?
Yeah, I got to UConn. I came first in January of 2 years ago, so I redshirted, and then last year was my first year of playing.
Okay.
Not a bad first year.
Right.
Come out.
Not at all.
pretty good.
Well, speak of that. Now, what do you feel like this year coming forth national champs, right? You got another banner in the gym. Coach Calhoun's around. What's it feel like?
It feels amazing. I mean, it's something that you dream of all the time, and just to have Coach Calhoun around, who built UConn up and built the expectations on how the program should be, and just, adding another one to his legacy, it means everything to us. And, just to add to the history, special add to what Kemba has done, Rip Hamilton, Ray Allen, all those guys, just never forgetting what they did, and just continue to expand in UConn history.
Did you have, when you were growing up, did the Big East, did that mean something? Did you look to watching some of that, or give us a little bit of some of your memories there?
Yeah, definitely. I think ever since I was a kid, I always remember that Kemba step back shot against Pitt at
And the guy falling down, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The big guy.
Right.
The guard took the big guy. Yeah, okay.
And then, as a New England kid, I'm from Mass, so that's all you really hear about is the Big East, and just you start seeing those rivalries with Syracuse, with Providence, Pitt, all those schools, and you really just start to follow. It was really the best basketball league, and just how strong it became with Georgetown, St. John's, Nova. And it's something I always wanted to play, and then as I got older, I realized playing at MSG for this tournament is unbelievable. No other conference has something like it.
Nothing. Yeah. Never will
Nothing
be.
like it is right. Who do you think is your biggest rival team in the conference?
Biggest rival team.
Ooh.
We got a couple now.
Yeah, there is a couple now.
I think Providence is starting to brew into a rivalry based on the New England region. I think you got to give credit to Nova, St. John's, and Georgetown for the history that they've had in this league as well. So I definitely circle around those four.
Well, it's good to have UConn back in the conference, that's
Amen.
for sure. I mean, it was a breath of fresh air to see that you guys came back in. It's especially for two old guys that have been playing for as long as we were. So we appreciate your time, and thanks for coming and hanging with us.
So
all right.
much.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Good
pal.
luck. I enjoyed
Thank
watching
you.
you play last year.
Thank you.
right? We cover the Big East from Big East Rewind, so we're like from the initial days to now.
Mm-hmm.
When you came to UConn, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions because I know as a freshman, some big expectations, right? And you're coming in. There's a pretty good big guy there too. What did that look like when you first got on campus?
Yeah, obviously I knew I was coming in and playing behind Adama. You know, who was the best big man in the country. You know, it took me a little time to understand what my role was going to be and, you know, what I had to do to help, you know, my team win. But, you know, it's the little things. You know, coach is like, you know, you go out there, you rebound the ball, you finish around the rim, you block shots, and, you know, you're going to find yourself on the floor a lot, and you're going to have a, you know, big impact on this team, you know. So, and, you know, going against Adama every single day just made me a lot stronger, made me a lot better, and vice versa. You know, him going against a 7-footer every day, and, you know, I'm seeing him finish around the rim and all that stuff. So, you know, me and Adama going against each other was, you know, just the best thing possible.
How about like your game, right? Like, I'm sure coach is going to try to drag everything out of it and make you expand your horizons, right? What are some of the things that you guys talk about? Like, hey, these are the things I see for you. And because I watched you play and I saw, you know, great improvements through the year. I was like, this is a good player, right? And so talk a little bit about some of the things that coach had planned for you, or you saw that you kind of picked up some things.
You know, just last year was just like, you know, the ball screen game, you know, something that he picked up on as, you know, one of the best team in the ball screen game, rolling to the rim. So, you know, me and Joey, California, we always had such, what it was, special connection that he always found me. And, you know, us two in the ball screen game, and it was lethal. You know, and rebounding the ball, blocking shots. I feel like, you know, in the tournament I had a couple big blocks down the road, and you know, it's just those little things that, you know, coach always emphasized to me. And you know, he's like you know, as a freshman, if you want to find your way on the floor, you got to do the things. And, you know, blocking shots, rebound the ball, finishing around the ring, you know, finishing those lobs. You know, just the little things that, you know, help me find a way to, you know, get my 10 to 12 minutes on the court.
So I played at Nova back in the day, okay, and so I go to all their games pretty much. So I've seen you play several times at Wells Fargo, okay, and people that are with me would say to me, "Are you bigger than that guy? Are you as big as that guy? He's bigger than you. What do you think?" Now I know who's bigger than who. Okay, I didn't. I just found that out.
That's
now.
real clear.
That's real clear. Exactly. So talk about playing a post player. Well, it's really not anymore, right? Back when we played, it was a bump and grind, and there's some of that. Don't get me wrong, but you're stepping out. I've seen you play. You have a good jumper. You can move a lot better than I ever could. And so talk about the difference between, you know, what that position has kind of formulated into over the years. Like, talk about how now it's more of a pick and pop, pick and roll type of situation.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, with the game nowadays, so many more knocked out shooters and so many guys who could, you know, do what they want and get to the rim. That the floor is much more spaced out, and you know, there's a lot more three balls going up, and so, you know, threes are more than twos, and, you know, sometimes you just gotta shoot more threes to help your team win. You know, so, you know, the big man game has evolved to, you know, one thing I found unique about myself is, you know, I feel like I have a, you know, decent passing game. I can pass the ball out of the post pretty well, off top of the key. You know, so, you know, playing out of the pick and short roll, I can short roll, you know, find someone in the corners, cut it, you know, pick and pop, you know, if I'm open, shoot the ball. If not, you know, find the next guy, go play a ball screen game with him. So
the fluidity in which you move, I'm impressed as a big person, you know, who played. Like, I just like watching you move. I mean, because it's so different from, you know, the way you guys train today versus how we did when we were playing. Just a completely different panel, you know. Does Coach Hurley give you opportunity to knock down a three once in a while? Do you have that? You have that in your repertoire?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's told me, he goes, if you're open, and like, they shoot the ball. You know, that's one thing that, you know, Dama did last year. You know, he never forced a shot. You know, that's one thing Coach Hurley said, you know, don't force threes. I'm not telling you, you know, take a one dribble, step back, step back three. You know, it's, you know, if you're out pick and pop and you got a couple steps to go around you, you got time, you know, shoot the ball. You know, so just expanding the game in every way possible. I mean, you know, look at the Dama in the Miami game, shoots up the game, go back-to-back threes, and that's one way to start. You know, brings a lot of fire to the team and gets us going.
Well, I got to tell you, from a standpoint, dealing with adversity now, right? We're dealing with this. What's it like when you first found out you got injured? What kind of goes through your mind?
Yeah, in a way, I got very lucky. when I got hurt, I was, taking a set of ball screen and throw to the rim and felt heard pop in my foot, which scared me a lot. And, it was a rough night that night. Stop just telling me before I got my MRI, what they think it was. That stuff is just, hearing, that you may not play this year is something hard. And, but to get the MRI and, feel the stress relief of 4 to 6 weeks was, everything. So I feel like I didn't work myself up and get too down on myself because, it was much better than what it could have been. And, but this has helped me and helped my team in a lot of ways. I'm on the sideline learning, seeing how, what's being messed up and what I could help my team do, how I could be the best leader possible, how I could help these young guys, and it gives, Samson and Yusuf an opportunity to, battle against each other and, get better on the floor. So it's great perspective.
Yeah, I love your answer. I love, and really what it comes down to, right? You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. That's called attitude. That's what they talk about. Jay Wright and Kyle Neptune and the Nova boys there. Talk about some of the big rival teams that you guys play in the Big East. I let that ride in.
Deep breath.
Right in.
Oh, it's gonna be a couple minutes.
So, I mean, everything. We always.
Who gives you a hard time? Like
with Xavier, Xavier last year was the hardest. We didn't beat them last year. So Xavier, Marquette is so well coached, and Tyler Kulik's one of the point guard.
Oh yeah,
he got that ball on a string and puts it where he wants it. Iguodaro is one unique big too. The way he moves and dribbles the ball on the post, and Marquette's good. Kalkbrenner and Crayon is obviously going to be a big battle this year, bringing back their big three of Alexander, Shireman, and Kalkbrenner.
You got a unique situation in that there's several 7-footers in the league. So at least who can all play. I love that. Yeah, so do I. Right. Tell it, will you? Because we go back and forth with the guards and the bigs over time. But there are guys that can play at that size, and then you got like other guys that are kind of really not for lack of a better word, a 5. Okay, but they're strong and they're built. Like a kid like Eric Dixon at Nova or the kid at Soriano at St. John's. So how do you prepare for one day you're playing against a guy that you see eye to eye with, and the next day you're playing against a guy who should be, could be a tight end in the NFL the way they're built,
Yeah, it's just film study, just trying to understand how they play their game, and one thing this year is. And one thing I did last year is just going back and watching the 4 games, seeing what they did and seeing how they dominated or what they did right or wrong, and just trying to pick up on the little things and how to guard them and what's their go-to move and like stuff like that. Obviously playing against Kalkbrenner is going to be different. They're going to play against Eric Dixon. Eric Dixon might be able to. He might be more of a face-up guy at the post and, gets to the rim and, facing up rather than Kalkbrenner who's trying to back it down and finish around the rim with hooks and stuff like that. So, it's just, understanding, the opponent's personnel and, just understand the coach's game plan and, how they move and how they play is just, the biggest thing.
Well, hey, listen, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for hanging with us. I had to ask one favor of you, if you can. I want you to, if you can, just give your name, Donovan, and then defending National Champion UCONN Huskies, and this is the Big East rematch.
We added the National Champion.
Yeah, we added that, because,
So we say, my name is Donovan Clingan, I'm from, or just...
Yeah, that's it, yep.
Yeah. My name is Donovan Clingan, I'm from the defending National Champs UCONN Huskies, and this is the Big East Rewind.
And the big guy did it in one take, Sonny. You saw that, right? All your pals took him 10 times to do that.
That's right.
We got Cam Spencer with us, and we're going to chat a little bit, of course, about good times. So we're Big East Rewind, so we cover the Big East from its inception to today.
Yeah.
We got to ask you a couple questions. Growing up, Big East, did you have any teams? Did you have any players? What are some of your memories of Big East early days?
Yeah, it would be UConn.
Really?
No, seriously, yeah.
Nobody else?
Kemba
Syracuse?
Kemba Walker. I was a Syracuse fan growing up. When they were winning.
You got that? You got that.
I hopped on the bandwagon when they were winning, but honestly, UConn and Kemba Walker, and when they were making their run.
Oh, God. What a run.
Great.
What a run.
I know, right?
Oh, man, that's a great time to be a UConn.
Let's do it again.
Going right
And
from
again.
the Big East tournament right through the national tournament. That was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
That run of games. So, talk to us about what it's like now. You guys won your national championship last year. Now here you are defending national champs. What's the difference now in the way you approach the off season?
I think it's the same mentality. Obviously, you want to keep it the same. It worked once, so
If it ain't
why not
broke,
do it
don't
again?
fix it, right?
Yeah, right. So I think it's great that we have the blueprint from that team last year, and we brought back all the coaching staff, so they're going to hold us to that same standard every day in practice, which is something I love about it. And I think they talk about the team really making the jump when they became a player-led team, and that's what we're kind of working toward this year.
Did they ratchet it up a little bit this year, do you think, because there's more pressure? What's your observation last year and this year so far?
Yeah, it's not pressure. It's, obviously I think they're the target on your back. So I think you're going to get every team's best shot, which, their level is going to be raised. So we have to raise our level each game. But, I think we just can't take any game for granted and take it one by one.
Now, what are some of the things that you've been asked to do that maybe has expanded your game and your skill set? What are some of the things that Coach Hurley said, hey, Cam, these are the things you're going to have to do?
Yeah, the first thing would be, it's my 5th year of college basketball, so trying to be a leader to the young guys. We have 5 freshmen, so being able to share my experiences with them and help elevate their games as well is something that he's asked of me. But as far as on the court, from a playmaking standpoint, I think it'll be a decent role, but I pride myself on being able to do a little bit of everything and helping the team win any way that I can is what I'm about.
Great.
Now, you mentioned the 5 freshmen. Coach Hurley took a different approach. A lot of guys grab guys off the portal with all the transfers. You see them all over the place.
Yep.
St. John's, Nova College. What's it like now as the elder statesman, working those guys into the UConn culture and making them part of the fabric as part of being a Husky?
Yeah, I feel for those guys. I was once a freshman, so I know that, they get hit with a lot when they come into college. But they've done a great job of adjusting, and I think we have some great young guys. And I think it's our job as an older player to set the standard and show them the way so that they can follow, which they've done a great job of. And as a leader, you got to bring in every day and set the standard.
Do any of those guys have a chance of making an impact right away?
Yeah.
Or is it something that's going to take time?
There was no hesitation right there.
Yeah, they will. Very confident in those guys.
You got freshman of the year projected, right? First.
I don't know. I don't look at that stuff, so I don't know. Possibly, but
So you're good. You're smart.
Yeah. I'm very happy with the young group that we have.
That's good. That's good. I saw that you guys got a real good class. One of the top in the country coming in. That's good stuff. So now you got a big season coming up. Who are some of the games that you circle on the calendar and say, okay, we got this team on this day?
Yeah. A lot of them, honestly, all of them, they all matter. But
I'm not saying one matters more than the other. Yeah, in conference. Yeah.
Marquette won it all last year. They won the Big East.
I think you owe them one, right?
Yeah, right. So I was thinking them, and Creighton's gonna be a great team, and honestly, we have a lot of good teams in the conference this year. So I think I'm gonna circle a lot of them.
Well, he's got a full calendar, so that's good. Thanks a lot for sharing some time with us, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
We're going to ask you one favor.
Yeah.
A little favor.
You can you see that sign
Yeah.
that my good friend printed with his best
your
penmanship?
name, school, and this is the Big East.
I'm Cam Spencer from UConn, and this is the Big East Rewind.
Thanks, man.
Right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck this year.
Appreciate you.
We're here with head coach of the defending national champion UConn Huskies, Danny Hurley. Danny, good to see you, my friend. It's been a long time. How are you?
How we doing?
Congratulations, first of all, winning the national championship. Now with the heritage of your family, your brother and your dad and everything, you guys all have your own championships now. It's great to see.
Yeah, it was nice to get that. I think a lot of my career as a player and as a coach has been pretty good, but probably missing that elite moment.
Didn't you say something about now you got the spot at the table? Didn't you say
I do. I would always be at the. I was never in the middle seat. I was always was at the Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was at the end of the table or in the wobbly seat. But now I got a good spot.
Well, that's great, And so what we do here at the Rewind, we go back and then we go forward, So we kind of bridge the past to the present. So let's start back in the Seton Hall days. Tell us about your time playing at Seton Hall on those great teams that New England.
Yeah, I mean, incredible teams back then. Obviously PJ Carlissimo, one of the great coaches in Big East history, and Terry DeHare, a lottery pick and the all-time leading scorer.
He was a St. Anthony's guy, right?
St. Anthony guy that we went to high school with.
Right.
Jerry Walker, who went to high school with, and Arturas Karnisovas, and Adrian Griffin, who's now coaching my guy Andre Jackson with the Bucks, and Artie, who's now the president of the Bulls, and just an incredible group of players and coaches on those teams. Big East regular season champs, Big East tournament champs. That Western Kentucky game, though, my sophomore year, I think we blew through the Big East tournament, and we had a national championship caliber team. Luther Wright at center, 7-2, lottery pick. Oh,
tough one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So talk about the run for the Big East tournament. What it's like playing back then at the Garden. Versus now when you're coaching here. What do you see? Are there any differences, and what are they if you do see the differences?
I mean, I probably got a little bit better control of my mind. What
well, that's hard to say, Dan. Come on.
You wouldn't know that by the sideline.
If somebody didn't know you,
they would not. They don't know my starting point. So I would just say it's a lot of it's the same, though. I mean, the anticipation coming in here, you're getting on that elevator, the cargo elevator, and pulling up to the place, and and the feeling of the city, and the electricity of the crowd, and the lighting, and just the way the building smells, and it's just different, man.
That's a cool description.
Yeah, it is.
That is a cool description.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, I got to ask you, coming from the bloodline and the heritage, like Chuck mentioned, right, your dad, talk a little bit about your relationship with your dad, because he's just legendary. Anytime he had a coaching clinic that he was at, I tried to make sure I got there, because I learned so much details and tenacity and just focus. He was incredibly focused. Talk a little bit about your kind of how that worked out.
Yeah, I mean, we were just such and we are just such a close-knit family, I think. Our home team, our family unit, my dad was either, at the probation office or with St. Anthony, and we were, our whole family was an extension of St. Anthony. We just spent so much time together. I think our relationship, was certainly father-son, but also coach-player.
Right.
And the evolution of that in my 20s, when I went to Seton Hall, into my 30s, and 40s, and now today is, it's much more father and son, more of like a loving friendship, as opposed to that guy that was pushing me and Bob to be at our very best. And believe it or not, he's not highly critical of our film. He's very positive with the boys and doesn't call me after a game and say I suck as a coach, and if the players are all trash, I need to get rid of them. He goes out of his way to be overly positive. And anyone that remembers him, he was super intense.
Yeah, which is where you get it from.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like me, and I think that me and Bob, we coach college basketball, I think in a big way.
But you played that way. I mean, I remember you playing. I mean, you were very passionate. We'll use that word, right? You were passionate on the floor. And you're passionate on the bench.
Yeah, that's good. That's a nice way of saying it. Well, listen, there's, you kind of represent where you're from,
right?
And kind of the where we grew up and the way we grew up, and the nature of our environment. Like these are the type of people that were produced from there.
Do the kids? How do they take that type of, because I know you're a fiery guy, okay? How do they take that now versus like when we played? That was kind of the norm. He played for Coach Banger, I played for Coach Mass. There wasn't two better yellers, at that time.
Yeah. Well, I think I give, I think think we've grown and we play modern basketball. So I give my guys, I think, a lot of freedom at the offensive end, especially my best players. So I do think it's a player-friendly style. We're old school in our values and how hard we work, and the accountability piece and how hard I coach them. But then I also give them 11 months a year of my time, whether it's a summer workout in June, a November practice, or an April shooting workout off of a long tournament run. I give them my time, and there's a real relationship with them there. So they know I love them, so they let me truth tell.
We got a chance to talk to a couple of your guys. That's true in spades. You could sense it. I mean, we never really came up, but underneath all that, because they would talk about intensity of practice and the accountability factor. But you can tell that rings true. You're not just saying it. These guys breathe it.
And I think on game night I flipped the script. I'm brutal in practice, and I'm unreasonable, and I set a standard that is going to be very comfortable for them on game night. I mean, we practice at such an intensity. I stress them out. So now when we go to game night, we don't have to change a whole lot. They're prepared. And for me on game night, mostly I yell at the refs. I'm not yelling at them on game night.
Right.
I'm mostly building them up, and it's more about confidence. If I'm yelling at them on game night, then I'm a bad coach.
Talk about the differences now between, you mentioned it a minute ago, the player-coach relationship. Is it different now because of the portal and things like that, where you can have kind of like free agency where kids can come and go right now?
Yeah, I think my whole mindset with my players is like don't be a taker, and you have a greater responsibility than ever to give everything that you have to the cause, which is for your program to be successful. Now, when you get to April, you could make your me decisions, if that means portal or NIL valuation. But from when you hit campus in the summer, it's all about UConn basketball. The resources that you guys are getting compared to what players of other generations have gotten.
So good to hear.
You got a greater responsibility than ever to deliver for the state of Connecticut, to the fans, to everybody.
That's perfect.
So this year coming up, let's get present day a little bit. You lost a couple of pretty good players, right, after winning a national championship. How do you feel you guys have progressed with the newcomers? You got a great freshman class that came in, one of the best in the country, pure freshman. Two-part question. What do you think now? And the second part is, was it a definite decision that you made as a coach to go and get a freshman kid versus going to portal and pull a kid out that's been around?
I felt like, and I'll do the second one first. I would say, we were waiting on Andre Jackson's decision on whether to turn pro or not. And we were either going to return him or go in the portal for, a starting guard. And so when Andre made that decision, we really got lucky because he literally went down to the last hour. And we got lucky that Cam Spencer went to portal, and to get a player of his quality, plug-and-play starter, two-way player, was just what the doctor ordered. And then Steph Castle, we knew that he was good enough and physical enough to be a freshman starter, and he's a humble enough kid that he's really letting us coach him and coach the mistakes out of him, because the talent is very, very high level. And then I think we anticipated a lot of the losses with the roster.
Right.
And I think we're as well positioned as you could be, given the circumstances, with everything that we lost: leadership, toughness, inside player in the Damasanogo, who was a beast. But to be picked in the top 6 in the AP, and to be a top 3 team in the Big East with all monsters, I think we're in a good spot.
We got it.
Okay. Listen, can we just ask you one favor before you go? We do a thing like a tagline. Can you just...
I got you.
Yeah.
Good, so you're not going to make me remember something. All right, I didn't go to grade school. No, I did. Seton Hall is a great school. Sorry. This is Danny Hurley from the defending national champions UConn Huskies, and this is the Big East Rewind.
Thanks, pal.
Let's go, man.
Good luck this year.
Yeah, great seeing you again.